Now, this video is sponsored by GJ Diamond Designs. Now, just because we're in winter doesn't mean we don't need a t-shirt. You can still get one to wear over your jumpers, underneath your jumpers, on top of your long sleeve t-shirt, and underneath coats and jackets. So why not make it a GJ Diamond Designs t-shirt? It's a simple black or white t-shirt that is willing to take a backseat and complement the uniqueness of you and yourself. Because after all, it's crucial for all of us to embrace our uniqueness as people, because that's what makes us diverse and that's what makes us special. Flaws and all. Be sure to check out the link in the description and be sure to get yourself a shirt. What's good, guys, and welcome to a special World Cup edition of ZFL Mini Logic. It's Zeno here. I'm joined by Dukey. Obviously, as you guys know, the World Cup is now truly underway, and therefore the next month or so, the episodes on the ZFL podcast, Mini Logic, and the Full Scale podcast are all going to be World Cup focused. So today, obviously, thank you all for 30 subscribers, by the way. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to go in the final cut now. I feel like I shouldn't be talking about getting 30 subscribers, but I appreciate you all in it, man. Love for that, innit? You know, them ones there, innit? You know,
history has been made.
You know what I mean? 30 subscribers on YouTube might be a small number to some, but to me it means a lot. Here today, you know, literally I checked it and I was like, 30, damn, I haven't posted in 13 days. But hey ho, apologies for that anyways, by the way, but I had to prepare for the World Cup, innit? You know what I'm saying? So let's just get straight into it, man, before I waffle on for too long. Obviously, we are talking about day 2. We're not going to talk about day 1. Qatar lost to Ecuador, outclassed, outplayed, outfought, out everything. They're not good enough. It is what it is. Hopefully they improve. I'm not going to talk much about that nonsense. But, you know, opening game, everyone was going to have eyes on it. It turned out to be quite an underwhelming match, like many people predicted. But today was really the beginning of the tournament, if you know what I mean. Some of the real quality teams played yesterday, shall I say. And literally, it was England up against Iran, then Netherlands, Senegal, Netherlands. And thirdly and last, we had Wales versus the USA. So 3 games that had 3 different types of performances going on from the 6 teams involved. You know, it's obvious we have to start with England. 6-2 wins against Iran, bro. What are you saying about that?
So I was still thinking about that chick, you know.
I'm so sorry. You're talking about the... Oh no, you're talking about
She actually like a shovel, I swear to God. Sorry, what did you ask me?
You know what, I was looking at you, I'm thinking you're in deep thought now.
I was laughing in my head. It was so bad, man. I hope you shouldn't see this somewhere in life, but I'm so laughing at you.
Imagine just listening to this and thinking, I wonder if
sorry, yes, England and Iran. We'll see with that one. Like I said to you, fair. I thought 2-0, tidy performance. We'll take that. But 6-2, England have definitely set the benchmark for that.
Definitely. Like when I saw the lineups.
So now what I expect is with Iran as well as with USA and Wales is England now just throw the kitchen sink at both those teams. We cannot set up with a pragmatic approach against those two teams, because if you are, then you might as well hold your hands and pray when you play against Brazil or Argentina and the rest of the big boys. So you got to be real though, like is it really shocking for England to beat Wales or USA with a scoreline of 6? No, it's not.
It's not, no.
Like really and truly.
England for a long time have been very underwhelming. Historically, we're used now for England to be that team that underwhelms in major tournaments, and recently in the last couple of tournaments they've been putting on much better performances and better runs to campaigns. And obviously with England, one of the things you can point out despite these good moments they've been having in the last couple of tournaments is the quality of the performances, you know, how well they've been playing against these teams and how well they've played against them. And I feel like this Iran game, especially after the recent form running up to this was a very good performance, because when I saw the lineups, I was kind of worried. Obviously, we know that Southgate doesn't pick his players on form. He picks them based on how much he trusts them to perform for the national team,
and Premier League bias as well.
Let's not forget the Premier League bias. Tomorrow not being in the squad is still a crime. Let's not forget that. You know, if any defensive errors and mishaps happen during the tournament, we're all going to point towards who could have been selected. And tomorrow is probably the first name that comes to mind. But Honestly, the performance was much better than I thought. Obviously, Iran ain't no champs, you know. They did look like champs out there in this game. But FIFA World Ranking of 20, even though FIFA rankings are quite nonsense, they've only lost 2 of the last 21 games, which I think is a better measure of how strong they are as a team.
there we go.
But I think their system limited them in the sense that I felt like they should have played the 2 proper strikers up front instead of just the one. Obviously, the one up front, Taremi, did score, found a way to sneak in 2 goals, but didn't mean much. Talking more about England's performance, though, looking at the system, I was happy they didn't go with 3 at the back and they went with a more. You can say it's a balanced system on paper, but when you play against a team like Iran, those 3 players and the striker are going to be a lot more attacking. And we saw in the performances of, in particular, Saka and Sterling and Kane, Mount unfortunately didn't catch the eye like that. He was quite disappointed.
Well, it's quite interesting because when you look at the lineup, I was really moaning because I saw that Fred in Maguire in defence.
Yeah.
I wasn't really feeling Mount, but
Yeah.
well, you kind of can't justify it because Mount didn't do well and Maguire was at fault for the second. But everyone else, even Sterling, I wouldn't have even brung Sterling, but he proved me wrong with that goal. So
Yeah. Sterling once again proves his value to the England team. Of course, at Chelsea, he's had his struggles. But in this game in particular, he performed really well. And I think when it comes to England, certain players, Sterling and Maguire in particular, seem to just find another level, really. But I haven't seen England play with such forward emphasis like this in a while, you know.
exactly.
It was really surprising to see that performance from them because we're so used to them kind of being a bit slow.
And this is why I cannot stress enough that Southgate must stick with this. Remember,
Yes.
it's the United States and Wales. We don't fear those 2 teams. We should really put the sword to them. End of. It's true.
I agree. USA and Wales, you believe it or not, according to the FIFA rankings, which I know are nonsense, but the rankings show that USA, Wales, and Iran are pretty close, meaning there's not much between them in terms of their quality and their level. Look at Wales' system in the game against the USA, and then look at Iran's system. It's the same system. It's just that Wales played with 2 strikers, and Iran played with 1. It's a 5-4-1 for Iran and a 5-3-2 for Wales, I think they played in that game. So it's honestly just like England just need to be able to repeat this pattern of performance. And Southgate better not do what he's done multiple times in the past, where he's purposely given tactics to the players for them to play a lot more pragmatic, a lot more thinking of their defensive duties rather than their attacking duties, because England's strength is in their attack. And in games like this, you can see how good they are when they attack. It's that simple, really. No need to overcomplicate things.
Yeah, but if you're Iran, you really shouldn't be that disappointed too much. I mean, you lost against a good England side, even though you scored 2 goals. But if you look at the results with United States and Wales, they actually favour them. It's a draw. So now Iran can really set up shop and probably hit USA on the break and could probably go for Wales' throat, to be fair. So
yeah,
so they're very much still in the mist as well.
The harsh reality is that Iran probably came to this game expecting to lose. Maybe not in the manner that they lost, but they probably came to this game expecting to lose and knew that the real competition in this group laid with their games against Wales and the USA. So it'll be very fascinating to see how they perform in those 2 games.
Yeah, exactly. You'll likely see Iran probably give it more against Wales and the United States.
Precisely. Well, yeah, speaking of Wales and the United States, they played, of course, the evening game, 7 p.m. Obviously in Qatar, I think both the 4 p.m. and the 7 p.m. were evening games. We'll talk about here in the UK. And we ended 1-1. A game of 2 halves, you could say.
So with the United States, to an extent, I was impressed with how well they kept the ball and how they kept it moving. Though I don't know, was it that or was it how easy Wales made it for them in the first half?
Really,
the 3 on the back tactics clearly didn't work because all that space on the width allowed Pulisic and Ware to exploit that. I mean the goal alone was a
pretty good
sign
example.
of that.
Yeah,
exactly. The link up and that, but even as I was saying to you off air, just the way how on at least on 4 occasions in the first half, they just allowed the United States to just play football in the middle of the park. Even leading up to the first goal, they won their headers, and then it was a chest down to Pulisic, and that's all you needed for him to go on the break. So I was very surprised by that. In the second half, they get into the groove of it. They took off Dan James and put on more, so they found a target man. So Wales did have their moment, but this whole tactic of being defensively solid and then giving it to Bale, yeah, come on, that's gonna have to stop. I'll say it now. Even I was saying that they should have taken off Bale at least 50 minutes in, but they'll never do that. But
that they can't afford to. Bale, unfortunately, is Wales. And this tactic of giving it to Bale and hope has surprisingly been good for them. It's been worked for them. But the harsh reality is we're in a major tournament now. You need to have a bit more about you. Now, of course, individual performances sometimes can be enough to lead you all the way. But honestly, the way that Wales performed in the first half, USA just found, like you said, Dukey, USA just found it too easy to play against him. Pulisic was just free roaming all over the pitch, doing whatever he liked, and they found it hard to contain him. And yeah, Ware was getting them behind, just Sargent was getting them behind. It was easy for them to create chances and to control the game. But as soon as Kiefer Moore came on in the second half, and Wales decided to feel like, okay, we're behind now, we need to chase the game, all of a sudden the performance rose up. And of course, United States couldn't handle that because guess what? USA aren't that good a team. You know, they ain't that great. Let's be honest. They have some special players in there like McKennie, Pulisic himself, you know, and literally...
Tyler Adams.
Yeah, Tyler Adams, Brendan Aronson as well, who came on. And literally, you know, they've got some really good players, but so do Wales, you know. Obviously, the main names being Bale and Ramsey, but you also got, Nico Williams, who didn't play too well. You know, Conor Roberts is decent. Obviously, Ben Davis at the back. Man, like Ben Davis. But honestly, they missed Joe Allen, I think, as well, man. Someone that can probably keep the ball for them and allow them to go forward. But in the second half, they managed to find solutions. And by hook or by crook, they forced their way to a goal. You know, what's his name? Walker Zimmerman was a bit too rash in his challenge to Bale. And Bale, of course, stepped up to save Wales for the 1,000th time. Another game where you can thank Bale for being in the team and doing what he does for Wales, honestly, because...
To be honest, if you're the United States, you probably feel more disappointed by the draw, especially how the first half worked so well in your favour.
Yep.
And then you didn't really adapt well to the change.
Nope.
Of more. And then you kind of have to think... Because Pulisic was dropping a lot.
Yeah. I think it's his role in the team and just get him on the ball as much as possible so he can affect teams with his dribbling ability. And I think in the second half, USA just didn't get the ball a lot. Wales had the ball quite a lot.
Because Wales had their phase of play, but going forward, you kind of have to think they'll lose to England, but they need to get a win against Iran. I think in this group, what every other team apart from England is looking for is to avoid defeat against England, and then they'll battle it out amongst the rest. You know, I'll say it now, I won't be surprised if Iran do qualify. They probably won't. It'll probably be Wales, to be honest with you.
Wales and England, yeah?
Yeah, I think.
Interesting. Okay.
I think that though, I wouldn't be surprised if any of them made it, to be fair.
Yeah, I think if someone won this game, it's clear to see who
exactly.
England.
So it's a draw. That means Wales can really just smash and grab the rest. We're same with the United States.
It really depends on their performances against Iran and England.
Exactly.
It just those two performances will pretty much decide the destiny. England are expected to win all of them. Iran are probably expected to lose maybe both of them.
So for you, who qualifies with England?
Probably. Now I had my money on USA, but that performance put me off a bit.
You never know, innit?
I will still back the United States, but to me it's a toss up between Wales and the USA.
Yeah,
literally. To be honest, but I feel like USA just have a bit more quality going forward. Pulisic, McKennie, Weah played really well, and so did Sargent. And obviously they got Brendan Aronson coming off the bench. You know, I feel like they got more attacking variety there. Wales do too, but on a lower level. Daniel James, who was playing up front before Kiefer Moore came on, it was not great at all. He didn't contribute anything, you know. I feel like he's much more dangerous playing as a winger. And I felt like they should have made it a 3 at the front, or at least a 5-4-1, and have Dan James play on the right and Harry Wilson on the left. And then it maybe would have made more sense and would have given Wales more balance. But then Bale as a lone striker doesn't really add up because he's not a striker full stop. But this is the reality of a team like Wales. When you have a team player like Bale, you want him to be further up the pitch as possible so that he can make the difference for terms of goal scoring and creating chances.
Exactly.
You know, this is the trade-off they have to make. They've got someone in midfield in Aaron Ramsey, and they've got players in defence like Ben Davis. So that they have a lot of heart, Wales. Let's not doubt that. They're a team that works really hard for each other, and that's how they get results. But, you know, so we have to just see how they get on. But USA have the quality marginally over them. So we have to just see what happens, you know. It all depends on their performances against Iran and England. That pretty much decides it for them. Iran really, you could say, have not much to lose after that game ripped apart by England like that. England are probably the team in control of this group. all in all, to be honest. So we'll have to just see how the next round of fixtures go on Friday and see really what's going on there, and then we'll definitely, no doubt, have a clearer picture, because that's how it usually goes. After the second games are done, you start to see the picture, exactly what's going on, exactly what's happening. But I think there was one more game on that today as well, yesterday as well, between the Netherlands and Senegal. Obviously, not much attention was around that over here in the UK, because all we're talking about is Wales and England. But there was
even
the game between those two. This is what I mean, bro. The game, no one's talking about. I don't know. No one's really referring to it much.
Well, if you can be forgiven for missing it, because really and truly, they deserve to draw that game.
It's an underwhelming performance from the Netherlands,
but
honestly.
it was 2 mistakes from the keeper that really saved them. Goalie Gakpo scored, which is good. I'm scared because the more he does well, we might not be able to buy him next season. But that's not a World Cup discussion now, isn't it? But that was their issue, and then I think Klassen came on and scored the second. So if you're Louis van Gaal, you got the job done, I guess. See, here's the thing with World Cup football: it's not about how well you do it; it's really about the results.
Exactly that.
It's not like the League One where there is a main emphasis on it. The results are important for both, but it's not. But the style isn't really important. It is how you play.
Yeah.
It's the results, about how you play. So if you're Holland, that's your 3 points. You move down.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, obviously, watching the game, Senegal deserve to get something out of it. They obviously, with their 3 central defensive mids, they really played strong, and of course missing Mane does not help, because that's 90% of their attacking output gone. In their golden boy. So obviously him damaging his fibula is going to cost them, I think, in this tournament. But they really did go out there and put
his fibula. Yeah, he's out for a bit.
That's what I mean. And Senegal really believed he could play. They wasn't talking about the injury, saying it was a leg injury, making it sound a bit more insignificant. Turns out he's got a broken fibula. And it's like, he's not going to play this tournament. And it's a shame, because I think Senegal, out of all the African teams, probably had the best chance of doing something. Honestly,
exactly with Mane as well.
Yeah, exactly. But now without Mane, I'm banking on Cameroon to be the African team to make some noise. Not Ghana. So it literally them was there. It's literally them was there where I felt like Netherlands were lucky, and I think their quality up front told the story at the end, because if Senegal had Mane up front, maybe they nick a goal or two and they win the game 2-0. That's how those games can go sometimes, really, when it's so evenly balanced between the two sides. And obviously Netherlands not playing at their highest, best level. Senegal will have to say they were unfortunate not to get a point.
There is a third place kickoff in this, is it?
In the third place playoff in the World Cup group stage, or are you talking about in general, the tournament?
In this World Cup, or am I completely talking shit?
Are you talking about like the third place team going through in the group? I don't know. I know the rules are changing. No, next World Cup.
Oh, okay.
Next World Cup, they're increasing it to 48 teams and all that kind of stuff.
Well, if it's going to go anyway, it's good that you got the Holland game out of the way anyway, because then you got
pretty much Ecuador and Qatar.
So really and truly, I expect Senegal to really be done with both of them.
Even without Mane,
Yeah, Qatar, not Qatar. Ecuador might be a bit of an issue, but
Ecuador look good. And Valencia is sharp.
To be honest, he is. And these 2 goals were good, but to be fair, I think that was based on how poor Qatar were, to be fair.
Yeah, I know.
Again, similar to Wales, you just allowed the team to play their football. Yeah. But they'll take that confidence coming in. So Ecuador versus Senegal for them might be the game changer.
I think that's going to be, like we referred to with Wales and USA, that might be the game that can decide who wins the group, if there's a winner. If it's a draw, then it depends on the other games.
But that's going to be it throughout most of these groups. I think it's a good draw in terms of the groups of the World Cup, because I think some of these teams, they'll play against one team, but they'll know that they can still secure second with some of these other teams. I don't know the groups for some on top of my head, but for what I see briefly, I think it's going to be a very good World Cup.
Yeah,
I say very good, isn't it? It's been shoved in winter, isn't it? But
yeah, which doesn't help, honestly, man. We're so used to like being either on holidays or being in a more chilled part of the season when the season still isn't going on, and just watching the games unfold and not having to worry about going back to league football. But this is a completely different experience.
That's right, though, because after the World Cup, we are going to make a video talking about the well-being of the players, because from playing 3 days a week to the World Cup, and then to play 3 days a week
after travelling back from a completely different climate, different circumstances.
Exactly. So I'll gladly say my £50 cents. my £50. my £50 on that. I really will.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that when the World Cup's done, because you can even talk about it now. A lot of players have been injured alone. And the run up to this tournament has been really bad. It's something that's never been done before, but that's the reality of playing during a season, right? Injuries happen during the season. It's just that nobody don't have a World Cup in the middle of it.
I just think it's best retrospectively if I do.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think more players will get injured even throughout the competition anyway.
I think some players have been injured already.
Yeah, you see it now. Somebody started getting cramps and muscle injuries in the first fucking game.
Yeah, I saw that. USA were getting a lot of cramps. Yeah. That caught me by off guard. I can't lie, man.
That's what I'm saying. So these bodies and say which one. Yeah, these are highly paid professionals, but still, there's only so much that the body can endure. 3 games a week. That's already high intensity. So you're not gonna take them into no part of the world where the heat is so hot. It got moved to the winter. It's still hot regardless.
Exactly. That's what's mad about the Qatar.
And they're not gonna play the same kind of intensity in a different kind of mentality because it's the World Cup, the biggest competition in the world. Yeah, it's too much in these players. It's too much. Some of these players will be broken.
Absolutely.
By the end of the season.
No doubt about it.
It's all for money, but that is a moment for another day.
For sure. But yeah, I think we're gonna end that there on that note. Thank you all for listening to today's ZFL podcast, World Cup edition. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll probably catch you guys tomorrow, where we'll talk about groups C and D, involving Argentina and France. You know, 2 of the favourites, you could say, to go real far in this competition, even though France do have injuries. But hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next episode.